Every morning when the sun rises, most people choose comfort. They linger in warmth, wrapped in the illusion that life will come to them if they wait patiently enough. But the truth is harsher. Life does not wait. Fortune does not knock on doors where effort sleeps. Only those who rise before the world, who force themselves to confront the cold, the quiet, the emptiness of early hours, understand what it means to truly begin. You may think it is simple to awaken, to step into the day. Yet the real battle is not against the world, it is against yourself, against the weakness that lingers in your mind, in your body, in the small, insidious voice that tells you, rest, wait, tomorrow will do. That voice is the enemy of greatness. The moment you hear it, you must meet it with the unwavering discipline of a warrior. Discipline is not a word to be whispered lightly. It is forged in repetition, in the countless small choices that accumulate into strength. It is the decision to rise when the body protests, to act when the heart wishes to linger, to move when the mind argues that stillness is safe. Most people cannot grasp this because they have never been willing to endure the discomfort necessary to grow. They cling to comfort as if it were life itself, yet comfort is a cage, a slow poison that dulls the senses and chains the spirit. You, however, must walk another path. You must greet each day as a challenge, as a test of your commitment to mastery. You must understand that the body will resist, but the mind can command it if it is trained with rigor, if it has been hardened by daily, relentless repetition. When you wake, do not simply rise, awaken fully. Open your eyes and see the battlefield of your life. It is not out there in the streets or in the courts, it is within you. Every weakness you tolerate, every moment you choose ease over effort is a defeat. The warrior does not wait for the world to deliver lessons, he seeks them in every action, every movement, every breath. When you rise before the others, when the world still slumbers, you claim the first advantage. You train your senses to recognize the subtle shifts of opportunity. You teach your mind to anticipate, to act, to endure. There is power in the early hour, a clarity that belongs only to those who do not surrender to the softness of sleep, who do not barter their potential for fleeting rest. Understand this: discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. It is the key to stepping beyond the limits the world imposes, beyond the chains you place on yourself. Each day you commit to mastery, you carve a path through the fog of mediocrity. Every morning you conquer your own hesitation, you set a standard for your life that others cannot match. Most people never realize how weak they are until the moment demands strength, until the pressure of reality strips away excuses, and they find themselves unprepared, untrained, unarmed. You cannot allow yourself to be caught in that state. You must rise again and again, long before the day has begun for anyone else, so that when the world challenges you, you are already ready, already sharpened, already strong. There is an old practice I have followed, one that may seem simple, yet it is the crucible of strength: to greet each day with a ritual, a commitment to excellence before any distraction enters your mind. The body must be stirred, the muscles awaken, the blood set in motion, but more importantly, the mind must be prepared. Train it to endure discomfort without complaint, to focus without wavering, to see through fear and hesitation. This is what separates the 1% from the rest. They do not rise because it is easy, because it is expected, because the sun has come. They rise because they understand that every moment they delay, every second spent in comfort, is a moment lost in the pursuit of mastery. The weak do not see the cost of delay. The strong calculate it and act. Even when you grow weary, even when your body aches and your mind protests, you must persist. Weakness is seductive, it whispers that stillness is safety, that rest is reward. But there is no reward in surrender. Only in the relentless pursuit of excellence does the warrior find satisfaction. Each morning becomes a training ground, each waking hour a measure of your commitment to greatness. You may stumble, you may falter. The difference is that the disciplined rise again. Each day you practice victory by conquering your own hesitation, your own inertia. Life is a battle, and if you do not fight yourself first, how will you face the chaos beyond your walls? And do not mistake this for mere physical exertion. Discipline is not in motion alone, it is in attention, in focus, in the refusal to allow your mind to be scattered by trivialities. The 1% do not drift. Their thoughts are their weapons, their intentions as sharp as a blade. They rise early not because the body demands it, but because the spirit commands it. And when the world awakens, they are already several steps ahead, moving with purpose, anticipating challenges, shaping their destiny while others are still dreaming. It is this quiet, persistent preparation that the weak cannot understand, that they fear to attempt, that they secretly envy. But envy is irrelevant to you. You must only act. You must only rise. You must only conquer yourself. So every morning, before the sun rises, before the world stirs, make the choice that defines you. Do not linger in comfort. Do not bargain with weakness. Stand, stretch, breathe, sharpen your mind, and prepare your body. Meet the discomfort with resolve. Let your first action of the day be a declaration that you are ready, that you are disciplined, that you will not bow to weakness. This is the essence of mastery. This is the practice that the majority will never attempt, the struggle that only the 1% embrace. And when the day comes when life tests your courage and your strength, you will not falter, because you began the fight the moment you opened your eyes. You began it before the world even noticed. Rise as if you are already victorious. The mind is a battlefield, more treacherous than any field of war, more demanding than any duel with steel. Many believe that the body carries the weight of struggle, that strength is measured in muscle, speed, or endurance. But the truth is harsher and far more subtle. The body obeys the mind, and the mind obeys only the one who has mastered it. Too many are slaves to their thoughts, prisoners of fleeting emotion, dancing to the rhythm of fear, doubt, and hesitation. They think strength is action, when in reality, action without mastery of the mind is chaos. To be truly powerful, you must train your mind as a warrior trains for battle. You must forge it in discipline, sharpen it with reflection, and temper it with observation. Only then will you move through life with precision, with purpose, with the quiet confidence of one who has nothing left to fear. When the day begins, you will face 1,000 whispers from within. One says, "Rest, you have done enough." Another says, "Wait, tomorrow is long, you have time." Yet another murmurs, "What if you fail?" These are the voices that enslave the weak. They are cunning, patient, persistent, and they disguise themselves as reason, as common sense, as prudence. But you, if you are to rise above, must recognize them for what they are: obstacles. Every moment you allow hesitation to take hold, every second you indulge in self-doubt, you lose ground. Your mind must be a fortress, unyielding, vigilant, unshakable. The training begins not with swords or sparring, but with the awareness of your own thoughts, the discipline to observe them without surrender, and the courage to act despite them. Many spend their lives reacting rather than commanding. They move because the world pushes them, because circumstances force them, because emotion drives them. The strong do not react, they act. They anticipate, they strategize, they move with intention. This is the difference between a life of wandering and a life of mastery. To train the mind like a warrior is to see every moment as preparation, every challenge as a test, every failure as a lesson. It is to recognize that victory is born not of luck but of clarity, focus, and relentless mental strength. When your mind is disciplined, the body follows naturally. When the mind wavers, the body falters. To master oneself, you must master your inner world first. Reflection is the hammer that shapes this mind. It is not enough to act, you must understand. You must observe yourself as a warrior observes an opponent, without judgment, without fear, without distraction. Notice your thoughts, your tendencies, your weaknesses. Recognize where hesitation lurks, where fear hides, where doubt creeps, and then confront it not with anger but with steady, unwavering resolve. The weak turn away, pretending these truths do not exist. They deny their faults, they excuse their failures, and they cling to illusions. The strong face themselves repeatedly, mercilessly, until nothing remains unexamined, until the mind is clear, sharp, and unbreakable. Discipline and reflection alone are not enough. The mind must also be trained in observation, the quiet, patient skill of seeing what others miss. Most walk through life blind, distracted by noise, preoccupied with trivialities, deaf to the subtle signals that herald opportunity or danger. The disciplined mind notices everything: a shift in expression, a change in tone, a movement in the distance. The warrior sees patterns, predicts outcomes, and acts decisively because the mind has been prepared to receive the truth without distortion. This is not talent. It is practice. It is repetition. It is the slow, deliberate sharpening of perception until the mind becomes a weapon as precise as any sword. You will find that the path is lonely. Few understand the importance of this training. Many laugh at those who rise before dawn, who meditate, who reflect, who condition their thoughts as carefully as their bodies. The world values spectacle, distraction, ease. It praises those who perform well under comfort and shuns those who labor in silence. But mastery does not depend on praise. It depends on preparation. It depends on the mind that will not be swayed by convenience, by habit, by weakness. The warrior understands that every victory begins in the mind. Without mental dominance, physical prowess is wasted. Without clarity, action is aimless. Without discipline, potential is squandered. Fear is perhaps the most insidious enemy of the mind. It wears many faces: fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. Many attempt to ignore it, to distract themselves from it, to push it aside. But the warrior does not flee. The warrior faces fear directly, examines it, dissects it, understands its source, and then acts despite it. Strength does not mean the absence of fear, it means mastery over fear. When the mind has been trained, fear becomes a tool rather than a cage. It signals caution, guides strategy, and strengthens resolve. The weak are paralyzed. The strong move. The disciplined mind commands both thought and action, bending circumstance to will. Action without reflection is empty. Knowledge without experience is hollow. And yet in the mind of the warrior, knowledge and action are inseparable. Every observation informs movement. Every reflection guides choice. Every lesson learned strengthens the mind for the battles to come. There is no room for indecision, for distraction, for indulgence. The mind that is trained is alert, precise, calm, and unrelenting. It does not waver when challenged. It does not falter when opportunity arises. It sees clearly, moves decisively, and strikes with unerring purpose. This is the mind of the few, the 1% who rise while others sleep, who conquer themselves before the world, who act with the certainty of one who has trained, who has prepared, who is ready. Every day, cultivate this mind. Feed it discipline, reflection, and observation. Confront fear and hesitation. Reject distraction and weakness. Prepare in silence, rise in strength, act with precision. Let your thoughts be your allies, your strategy your guide, and your clarity your sword. In this there is power, freedom, and victory. The body may tire, the world may resist, the path may be lonely, but the mind that is disciplined becomes unstoppable. Train your mind first, for it is the master of all else. Many wander through life believing that the world owes them something, that circumstance, luck, or fate will decide their fortune. They look outward, seeking blame when things fail, seeking comfort when challenges arise, seeking approval when action demands courage. Weak people are always pointing fingers, always waiting for someone or something to change their path. But mastery, true mastery, begins when you stop searching outside for answers and take full responsibility for every thought, every action, every outcome. The moment you claim responsibility for your life, you seize the only power that can never be taken from you, the power to act, to decide, to shape your destiny. Too many delay greatness because they see obstacles as barriers rather than opportunities. They say, if only this were different, if only that had happened, if only the world allowed it. But the world owes nothing. The path will never be clear. The winds will never shift to favor the hesitant. The weak will always find reason to pause, reason to complain, reason to surrender. The strong understand a simple truth: every circumstance is neutral until acted upon. Action, not complaint, not lamentation, not hope, transforms difficulty into victory. When you take radical responsibility, you stop living as a victim. You stop handing the power of your life to chance. And instead, you wield it as a weapon. You must understand that excuses are the refuge of the weak. They are comforting lies that protect you from effort, from struggle, from the clarity of your own truth. I cannot because of this, they say. I fail because of that, they claim. But listen carefully, every reason you point outward, every justification is a surrender of your power. The strong do not excuse themselves, they evaluate the situation, recognize the constraints, and act anyway. They move where others hesitate, endure what others flee, and accomplish what others dream. Every failure is an opportunity to adapt, every challenge is a chance to grow, and every obstacle is a mirror that reflects the strength you either have or must build. To take full responsibility is to see life with unflinching clarity. The moment you stop blaming circumstance, the moment you cease searching for permission, the moment you accept that your life is yours alone, you awaken. You begin to act with intent, to think with precision, to choose with courage. The weak live in reaction, the strong live in strategy. They plan, they prepare, and they execute because they understand that the world does not pause for hesitation. The strong are accountable to themselves, and in that accountability lies freedom. Every choice, every step, every breath becomes an act of ownership, a declaration that no one else will control your fate. Responsibility demands courage. It is not enough to simply acknowledge your role, you must confront it fully without flinching. To accept that you are the architect of your failures and the sculptor of your victories is to step into a battlefield that few dare to enter. The weak will cower, blaming others for the pain they feel, for the limits they encounter, for the dreams that remain unfulfilled. The strong, however, face the truth of their circumstances, measure it, and then act with clarity and precision. They do not wait for luck, they create it. They do not plead for opportunity, they build it. They do not bow to circumstance, they bend it to their will. Understand this: radical responsibility is not punishment, it is liberation. When you stop blaming, when you stop waiting, when you stop hoping that the world will be kind, you are free to act. You are free to learn, you are free to rise. Each decision you make, each moment you own compounds into a life that cannot be stolen by misfortune, cannot be weakened by adversity, cannot be controlled by the indecision of others. The 1% embrace this reality while the many flounder. They do not ask for permission, they do not wait for validation, they do not beg for guidance. They act, they endure, and they conquer. There will be moments when the world seems insurmountable, when challenges tower above you, when fear whispers that you cannot continue. In those moments, remember that no one else carries your burden, no one else can fight your battles for you. Excuses will not save you, complaints will not advance you. Only you can stand, only you can act, only you can decide to push forward. To claim responsibility is to claim victory before the battle even begins. The weak may try to hide, to retreat, to deny, but the strong step forward because they understand that the moment of choice is the moment of power. Taking responsibility also means seeing clearly the consequences of your actions without fear or flinching. Every choice carries weight, every decision ripples through your life. The weak ignore this, living without awareness, drifting in chaos, blaming fortune when they falter. The strong embrace it. They measure each action, they anticipate each outcome, and they move with certainty because they know they alone are accountable. No one else can control the results. The victories you earn, the failures you endure, the lessons you learn, they all belong to you. And in claiming them fully, you claim mastery over yourself and your life. To act with responsibility is to embrace freedom, discipline, and power simultaneously. You no longer wait for the world to be fair. You no longer depend on others to guide your steps. You no longer relinquish control of your life to circumstance. You rise, you act, and you shape your path with precision. The weak live in chaos because they refuse to own it. The strong live in clarity because they accept it. Responsibility is not burdensome. It is the foundation upon which all achievement is built. Without it, talent is wasted, potential is squandered, and opportunity slips through the fingers of those too timid to grasp it. Every day, take stock of your life and your choices. Look in the mirror not for vanity but for truth. Acknowledge your mistakes, your weaknesses, and your limitations, then act, adjust, adapt, and overcome. Do not wait for someone to rescue you. Do not hope for circumstances to improve. Do not wish for fate to favor you. Stand alone if necessary and take the actions that others fear to take. When you embrace this responsibility, you do not merely survive, you dominate. You do not merely react, you lead. You do not merely exist, you conquer yourself, and in doing so, the world falls into alignment with your will. The path is not easy. It is not meant to be. Few can endure the weight of total responsibility. Most crumble beneath it. But the ones who persevere, who embrace it fully, who act with clarity, courage, and intention, these are the few. These are the 1% who rise while others sleep, who achieve while others dream, who lead while others follow. The world will test you, push against you, attempt to force you into passivity. Do not yield. Own your life completely, and you will never be powerless again. Claim your life, claim your choices. Claim your destiny. Most people allow their emotions to guide them, to control them, to dictate the decisions of their lives. They fight with anger, react with fear, stumble through life driven by desire or aversion. They believe that passion alone is strength, that the heart's loudest call is the truest guide. But this is illusion. Emotions are powerful, yes, but uncontrolled they are a sword without a hand, a weapon that turns on the wielder. Strength does not lie in reaction. Strength lies in strategy, in precision, in the calm and measured mind that sees the path clearly and moves without hesitation. The weak fight with their emotions and they are destroyed by them. The strong see emotions for what they are, signals, not rulers, and act with clarity beyond their influence. Consider the battlefield of life. Chaos surrounds every step. Conflict appears in countless forms: competition, challenge, opposition. The weak are pulled into it, drawn into every struggle, every quarrel, every drama. They react as if the world exists solely to test them, to provoke them, to push them into error. They lash out with anger, hesitate in fear, and flounder in confusion. But the strong see beyond the immediate turmoil. They do not act because the world shouts or threatens. They act because they understand the pattern, because they know the consequence, because they have thought, measured, and prepared. They fight not with emotion but with strategy. Every movement is intentional. Every step is deliberate. Every action serves a purpose. Emotions can be a trap. They cloud judgment, distort perception, and lead to mistakes. Fear can freeze the body. Anger can blind the mind. Desire can betray reason. Yet the weak believe their feelings must be obeyed as if emotion is truth. The strong know that truth lies in clarity, in the quiet assessment of reality as it is, not as they wish it to be. To act strategically is to see beyond the immediate thrill or pain, to calculate not only the present moment but the consequences that stretch beyond it. This is how battles are won before swords are drawn. This is how life is conquered before circumstances even arrive. The path of strategy begins with observation. The warrior sees, listens, and measures. He notices the patterns, the tendencies, the rhythms of those around him. He studies the environment, the opponents, the shifting currents of circumstance. He does not act in haste, nor does he act from impulse. He acts with knowledge, with foresight, and with calm. The weak, by contrast, are blind to these subtleties. They react to surface appearances, they chase fleeting emotion, they stumble into conflict unprepared and leave victory to chance. The disciplined mind, the strategic mind, understands that every advantage lies in preparation, in awareness, in patience. To live strategically is also to master patience. Life does not bend to the impulsive, to the reactive, to the impatient. The world rewards precision, timing, and control. The strong know when to strike, when to hold, when to retreat, and when to advance. They act with purpose, not out of desire but out of calculated necessity. The weak act as if urgency justifies recklessness, as if emotion must be obeyed, as if reaction alone is sufficient, but chaos punishes them. Mastery favors those who act with clear intent, who weigh each move, who anticipate consequences, and who maintain focus when distraction threatens to sway them. Strategy requires honesty with oneself. The warrior must see his own weaknesses, acknowledge his own limitations, and prepare for them without fear or denial. To fight without understanding your own capacity is to invite disaster, yet many refuse to face themselves. They allow pride to blind them, emotion to dictate terms, and denial to govern action. They react impulsively and they fail predictably. The strong, however, confront themselves, know their limits, and build their advantage from this knowledge. They turn weakness into awareness, emotion into information, and chaos into opportunity. In every encounter, in every challenge, the principle remains the same: do not fight with emotion. Do not allow fear, desire, or anger to dictate your path. Observe, analyze, plan, and execute. Let the mind lead, let strategy guide, let clarity prevail. Those who understand this rise above those who react. They see what others cannot, they strike when others hesitate, they endure when others crumble, they achieve when others surrender to distraction. Emotional strength without strategy is wasted energy. Strategic action without control of emotion is impossible. Only when both are aligned does power manifest. Consider your own life, your own challenges, your own battles. How often have you acted in haste, guided by impulse, blinded by passion, and found yourself trapped by the consequences? How often has fear dictated your steps, anger clouded your judgment, or desire led you astray? These are the pitfalls of the untrained mind. The disciplined warrior sees them in advance, anticipates them, and neutralizes them. The weak stumble, the strong move. The weak react, the strong act. The weak are swept by waves, the strong navigate the currents. To cultivate this mindset, you must train yourself daily. Observe your reactions, notice when emotion seeks to control you. Pause, assess, and act only when clarity dictates. Let every decision be guided by knowledge, foresight, and intention. Let every challenge be met with strategy, not impulse. Let every action serve a purpose beyond immediate satisfaction. The path is not easy. The world will tempt you with distractions, provoke you with insult, and overwhelm you with chaos. But if you remain steadfast, if you act strategically, if you let reason, preparation, and clarity lead your steps, no obstacle can defeat you. True strength is not loud, it is quiet. It does not boast, it does not react, it waits, observes, and strikes with certainty. It does not allow the tides of emotion to carry it away. It is grounded, precise, disciplined, and relentless. The weak mistake noise for power, haste for action, emotion for wisdom. The strong understand that victory belongs to those who master themselves first, who act with strategy, who harness the mind to guide every movement, who rise above the chaos that swallows the unprepared. In the end, life itself is a series of battles, not only against others but against the impulses that seek to control you. To act strategically is to master the battlefield within before facing the battlefield outside. The weak will fight with anger and desire and falter. The strong will see the situation clearly, act decisively, and succeed. Strategy, when combined with control of the mind and restraint of emotion, becomes the weapon that cannot be resisted, the force that cannot be opposed, the path that cannot be blocked. Do not allow emotion to command you, do not allow impulse to dictate your actions. See clearly, act decisively, and let strategy guide every step.